Greetings, brethren. I was reading this article, and I just want to share with you the background of the translators of the King James Bible. I just wanted to share with you some information so it's ready at your fingertips, so you know that you're confident that um, your King James Bible is translated accurately, because the translators were competent. They were learned men. I mean, some of these men knew Latin, Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek, Chaldean, how we pronounce it, and amongst 15 other languages. There's some people that know 20 languages in the communities, and so yeah, it's not like today you have Christians and teachers and pastors looking up Greek words. Well, in the Greek, this Greek word, and that's not the same thing as knowing the language. I mean, for Bible studies, when you're studying the meaning of the Greek, they pull up, well, this is the meaning of this Greek word. It's just the root word. There's tons of, just like the English, there's grammar, tenses, just like when I say, I love pizza. Do I want to marry pizza? No, it has a different meaning. But if you say love, well, love is extreme pleasure in something. You could say, I love this woman, so you marry it, but that doesn't mean you want to marry pizza. So they go like this. I'll share the screen right now. So they type in a Greek word on the internet, like logos, and they go, well, they go to lexicons. A lot of pastors, even scholars, they go to lexicons. Well, this is the definition. Do you know how to read the language? No, but I can read a book telling me what the root of this word means. But they don't do it in context, like how it's used grammatically in the sentence. Like logos, they come to Bible Hub, and they go here, logos. Oh, it means a word, statement, speech, or divine utterance. So they go, well, Jesus was just God's speech, and there's a lot of false doctrines that spawn off of that. Let me show you here. So this is the word to loose. I'm no Greek student, but here's the tenses of, you got luo, lues, lue, luamen, luete, and luesi. So you got I loosing, I loose or I loosing, you loose or loosing, she, he, then we got we and you, first person singular, plural, second person plural, third person plural, and there's a lot of other forms of the word, but I think maybe the root of logos is logo. No, yeah, logo. This is luo. So you got L and O, luo. But you can't say all these words are the same. Like the first word, luo, is that the same word as luesi? Down on the bottom, people will say, yeah, they'll go to the first one on the list. Well, that's what that means, and they put it where they put it down here. Well, that's what that means. No, they're different words. You can't tell me they're all different words. So yeah, that was one of my points I was going to say. But yeah, you have Christians that do that. They look up the root of a Greek word, but they don't uh, know the language or look it up in how it's grammatically used in the sentence of the of the Greek. You even have pastors that do that. That you have people going to seminaries. Well, I took a year in Greek, and they say, well, they translate the Bible and not actually know the language. But you have, if you're lucky, the scholars they only teach you like Greek. People only really know Greek. You have scholars you may get lucky, and they'll know a little bit of Hebrew, but it's only Hebrew and Greek. But there's a lot of other languages like Syriac, Aramaic, Arabic, um, ancient Hebrew, and these translators uh, was they didn't just study it; they were professors. They taught it. They spoke it. They knew these languages. They know like a lot of them know multiple languages, like a couple or five. But there's one that knew 20. But you can't take that to the modern languages. I know Greek. I translate it from the Greek or from the Hebrew or um, from other, and just focus on that. There's Latin and everything else. So, yeah, I just wanted to share with you article I read, just give you information on your fingertips of the background of these translators. So you know that they were proficient in translating. They were proficient. They knew these languages. They didn't just, well, I'll look it up in a lexicon and that's what it means. But no, they taught it. They were professors. They knew multiple languages. So I just wanted to share a little bit of background of these translators. So there's multiple committees translating different portions of scripture, um, but I think there was, what is it called? Okay, they were divided in 6 committees, 2 each at Westminster and Oxford, Cambridge, and 6 committees. Well, that's not 6. So each was assigned, the committees were assigned certain portions of scripture. The Westminster, I'll start with somebody that was on the first committee of Westminster, which translated Genesis to First Chronicles. So we got a fellow here called Dr. Lancelot Andrews, and it tells about him. He lived, gives the dates, 1555 to 1626. So that's probably the time period that he lived in, I think. Fellow at Pembroke College, Cambridge. Andrews has had his early education at Cooper's Free School and Merchant Taylor's School, where his rapid progress and study of the ancient languages were brought to notice of Dr. Watts, the founder of some scholarships at Pembroke Hall, Cambridge. Andrews was sent to that college where he took his uh, Bachelor of Arts degree. Soon afterwards was elected fellow. He then took his master's degree and began to study divinity and achieved great distinction as a lecturer. He was raised to several positions of influence in the Church of England and distinguished himself as a diligent and excellent preacher and became chaplain to Queen Elizabeth I. King James I promoted him to the position of Bishop of Chichester in 1605 and also gave him the influential position of Lord Almoner, and later became Bishop of Ely and a Privy Councillor. Till the end of his life, he was made Bishop of Winchester. It was recorded that Andrews was a man of deep piety, and that King James had such great respect for him that in his presence he refrained from the levity in which he indulged at other times. The sermon preached at Andrew's funeral in 1626 paid tribute to his great scholarship, his knowledge in Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Chaldee, Syriac, and Arabic, besides 15 modern languages. So he knew Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Chaldee, Syriac, and Arabic, and 15 modern languages. So he was so advanced that he may be ranked as one of the rarest linguists in Christendom. A great part of 5 hours every day he spent in prayer, and in his illness he spent all his time in prayer. In his last illness, he spent all his time in prayer, and when he both voice and eyes and his hands failed in their office, so he's becoming sick. I guess his eyes were failing him, his voice. He was becoming weak and frail. Probably lost his sight and voice and was too weak. His countenance showed that he still prayed and praised God in his heart until it pleased God to receive his blessed soul to himself. So that's Dr. Lancelot Andrews. You got next they list William Bedwell, 1561-1632, Master's of Arts degree, St. John's College, Cambridge. He had established his reputation as an Arabic scholar before 1603 and is recognized as the father of Arabic studies in England. He was the author of the lexicon Heptaglotton in 7 folio volumes, including Hebrew, Syriac, Chaldee, and Arabic. And he also commenced a Persian dictionary, so he knew whatever Persian language it is. Is the language called Persian? I don't know. But he made a Persian dictionary and an Arabic translation of the Epistles of John, which are now to be found among the law manuscripts in Bodleian Library. Next, we got Dr. F. Burleigh, Fellow of King James College, Chelsea. Dr. Richard Clark, Fellow of Christ College, Cambridge, who's one of the 6 preachers of Cambridge. Professor Geoffrey King, Fellow of King's College, Cambridge, and Regis Professor of Hebrew, Lively Spalding, and buying from the first Cambridge committee, also held his professorship. Dr. John Layfield, Fellow of Trinity College, Cambridge, 1585, and Greek lecturer, 1593. So he was a Greek lecturer. Lecturer. He was especially skilled in architecture, and his judgment was indispensable regarding passages describing the tabernacle and the temple. Dr. John Oliver, 1560-1619. Fellow of Trinity and Master of St. Catherine's College, Cambridge. He later became Dean of St. Paul's and successfully Bishop of Coventry, Lichfield, and Norwich. He took his doctorate degree in 1596 and became Regius Professor of Divinity at Cambridge. Next we have Dr. Adrian Sarvia, 1531-1613. Professor of Divinity at Leiden University in 1584. Prebendary of Canterbury and Westminster. In the controversies of the period, he often referred to as the learned foreigner. His Spanish descent and residence in Holland qualified him to assist the translators with his first-hand knowledge of the work of Spanish and Dutch scholars. He was also proficient in Hebrew, so he knew Spanish and Dutch. Dr. Richard Tay, Archdeacon of Middlesex, rector of All Hallows, barking by the tower. He was described by Wood as excellent textury and profound linguist. Richard Thompson, master's degree at Fellow of Care College, Cambridge, bachelor's degree in 1593, described by Richard Montagu as a most admirable philologist, better known in Italy, France, and Germany than at home. The first Cambridge committee, which translated from Second Chronicles to Song of Solomon, numbered 8 scholars. Dr. Roger Andrews, Fellow of Pembroke, Master of Jesus College, Doctorate degree, brother of Lancelot Andrews. Professor Robert Byng, 1574-1651, Fellow of Hunter House, Cambridge, and Hebrew professor. Dr. Lawrence Chatterton, 1546-1640, Fellow of Christ College, doctorate degree, Master of Emmanuel. Chatterton entered Christ College in 1564, embraced Reformed doctrines. He had brought up in the Roman Catholic, he has been brought up as a Roman Catholic, and his father offered him an allowance of 30 pounds to leave Cambridge and renounce Protestantism. Otherwise, I close a shilling to buy a wall and go and beg. Chatterton acquired a great reputation in Latin, Greek, and Hebrew scholar, and he was proficient in French, Spanish, and Italian. Among treasures of Emmanuel Colleges, a Hebrew Bible with its annotations provided evidence of rabbinical learning. For his 50 years, he was afternoon lecturer at St. Clement's, Cambridge, and 40 of the clergy said they owed their conversion to his preaching. Francis Dillingham, Fellow of Christ College, Cambridge, master's degree, 1590, bachelor's degree, 1599. According to Fuller, he was an excellent linguist and subtle disputant. Dr. Thomas Harrison, St. College, Cambridge, bachelor's degree, 1576, fellow tutor and vice master of Trinity, doctor degree, noted Hebraist, and chief examiner in Hebrew, according to Professor W. H. Moulton in the History of English Bible. He was also credited with the excellent knowledge of Greek, and he was a convinced Puritan. Edward Lively, Trinity College, Cambridge, bachelor's degree, 1568, and master's arts degree, and fellow 1572 Regius Professor of Hebrew, 1575, and he enjoyed the reputation of an acquaintance with the Oriental languages unequaled at that period. He died in May 1605. Dr. John Richardson, Fellow of Emmanuel College, doctor degree, Regius Professor of Divinity, 1607, Master of Peterhouse, and later Master of Trinity. Professor Robert Spalding, Fellow of St. John's College, Cambridge, has succeeded Edward Lively as Regius Professor of Hebrew. Okay, the Oxford Old Testament Committee, which translated Isaiah to Malachi. We have Richard Brett, Fellow of Lincoln College, Oxford, doctor degree, well-versed in classical and Eastern languages, Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Chaldee, Arabic, and Ethiopic, the language from Ethiopia. Richard Fairclough, Fellow of New College, Oxford. And we have John Harding, President of Magadan College and Regius Professor of Hebrew. He presided over this committee. Dr. Thomas Holland, Balliol Exeter's College, Oxford, Bachelor of Arts degree, 1570, and Master of Arts degree, 1575, Bachelor's degree, 1882. Okay, 1570 is Bachelor of Arts, Master of Arts is 1575, Bachelor's degree, 1582, Doctorate degree, 1584, Master and Regius Professor of Divinity, 1589. He achieved so much distinction in many fields of learning that he was not only highly esteemed among English scholars, but also had a good reputation in universities of Europe. He was mighty in the scriptures and faithful in explaining them. His example went hand in hand with his precepts, and he himself lived what he preached to others. His biographers writes, he loved and longed for God, for the presence of God, and the full enjoyment of Him. His soul was framed for heaven and could find no rest until he came there. His dying prayer, come, oh come, Lord Jesus, thou morning star. Come, Lord Jesus, I desire to be dissolved and to be with thee. Okay, you got Dr. Richard Kilby, Lincoln College, Oxford, Bachelor of Arts degree, 1578, Master of Arts degree, 1582, Bachelor's degree and Doctorate degree in 1596, and Regius Professor of Hebrew in 1610. He was the author of a work of Exodus prepared from Hebrew commentators. And then you got Dr. John Reynolds, Martin College, Oxford, moved to Corpus Christi and became fellow in 1566. He took his doctorate degree in 1585 and became Regius Professor of Divinity. After several years as Dean of Lincoln, he was made a president of Corpus Christi College in 1598. He represented the Puritans at the Hampton Court Conference, of which he suggested that a new translation of the Bible should be undertaken. His reputation as a Hebrew and Greek scholar was sufficient warrant for his inclusion among the translators, and Hall related that his memory and reading were near to a miracle. He worked on the translation of the prophets until his death in 1607. During this period, Oxford translators met as residents once a week and compared and discussed their work. His brother William was equally able in languages. He was, however, a Romanist, worked on the Rains Bible. Dr. Miles Smith, Master of Arts degree, doctor degree at Corpus Christi and Brasenose Colleges and Christ Church, Oxford. Bishop of Gloucester in 1612. Provided more evidence of his contribution to any of the others, as it was left to him to write the long translator's preface, the translators to the readers, which he used to be printed at the beginning of most English Bibles. His knowledge of Oriental languages made him well qualified for a place among translators of the authorized version of the Bible. He had Hebrew at his fingers' ends, and he was so conversant with Chaldee, Syriac, and Arabic that he made them as familiar to him as native tongue. He persisted in this task, formed its commencement to its completion, and was himself the last man engaged in the translation. The work of the whole company was revised and improved by a small group selected from their number, and was finally examined by Delson and Miles Smith. Okay, now we get to the New Testament committees. The Oxford New Testament Committee was translated from the Gospels, Acts, and Revelation. We got George Abbott, began his university studies at Balliol College, Oxford in 1578, and soon became known for his strong Calvinism and Puritanism. In 1593, he took his bachelor's degree in 1597, and in 1597 his doctorate degree. In the same year, became Master of University College at the age of 35. And a few years later, he was vice chancellor. He was very strongly opposed the Romanizing influence of Luid, and was very severe in his denunciation of anything which savored of popery, probably of papists, probably. I'm guessing that's what that means, popery, the papistry. Nevertheless, he accepted some high office in the Church of England. In 1609, he became Bishop of Lichfield, and in 1611, Archbishop of Canterbury. He was regarded as the head of Puritans within the Church of England, and vigorously opposed the King's decree permitting sports and pastimes on the Lord's Day. Second person they list, Richard Addes, Dean of Worcester. Worcester. Next is John Harmar, Master of Arts degree in New College, Oxford, Professor of Greek in 1585. Headmaster of Winchester, Worcester. I don't know. I was just reading the previous entry. Okay, John Harmar, Headmaster of Winchester, 1588. Warden of St. Mary's College, 1596. He was well read in patristic and scholastic theology and noted Latinist and Grecian. So he was proficient in Latin, Greek, scholar, theology. His works included translation of Calvin's sermons on the Ten Commandments, several of Beza's sermons, and some of the homilies of John Chrysostom. So next you have John Perrin, fellow of John's College, Oxford, Canon of Christ Church, and Regius Professor of Greek. Dr. Ralph Ravens, fellow of St. John's College. Dr. Ralph Ravens, fellow, Dr. Thomas Ravens, Christ Church, Oxford, Bachelor of Arts degree in 1578, Master of Arts degree 1581, Bachelor's degree 1589, Doctorate degree 1595, Vice Chancellor 1597. He was one of the 16 who had attended the Hampton Court Conference in 1604 and was made Bishop of Gloucester in that year. He died 1609. And third, Sir Henry Savile, Pernose College, Oxford, Fellow of Martin College, 1565, Warden, 1585, Provost of Eton, 1596, tutor of Queen Elizabeth I. He was prisoner in many branches of, he was a pioneer in many branches of scholarship and the founder of the civilian professorships of mathematics and astronomy at Oxford. His works included an 8-volume edition of the writings of Chrysostom. Dr. Giles Thompson, Dean of Windsor, Bishop of Gloucester, a man of high repute as scholar and preacher. Okay, the Second Westminster Committee, which translated the epistles. William Barlow, St. John's College, Cambridge, Bachelor of Arts degree, 1583, Master of Arts degree in 1587, Fellow of Trinity, 1590, Bachelor's degree in 1594, Doctor's degree in 1599. He represented the church party at the Hampton Court Conference and wrote the sum and substance of the conference, which the Puritans criticized as being biased against their cause. He was made Bishop of Rochester in 1605, one of the youngest in age, but one of the ripest in learning. Of all those that occupied that position, he later became Bishop of Lincoln. Professor William Dakins, Fellow of Trinity College, Cambridge, Master of Arts, 1594, Bachelor's degree, 1601, Greek lecturer at Trinity and Professor of Divinity at Gresham College, 1604. Dr. Roger Fenton, Fellow of Pembroke College, Cambridge, doctorate degree. One of the popular preachers of the day, Bishop Felton wrote, Never a more learned man hath Pembroke Hall, with but one exception. Dr. Ralph Hutchinson, president of St. John's College, Oxford, Bachelor of Arts, 1574, Master of Arts, 1778, Bachelor's degree, 1596, Doctorate degree, 1602. Michael Rabbit, rector of St. Vincent Foster Lane, Dr. Thomas Sanderson, rector of All Hallows, Dr. John Spencer, president of Corpus Christi College, Oxford. Then you got the Second Cambridge Committee, which translated the Apocrypha. I was going to decide, well, this doesn't really matter, but I'm going to include it because I'm going to include all the translators. John Boyce, fellow at St. John's College, Cambridge, and Greek lecturer. He was born in 1561. At a very early age, showed unusual interest in languages. He began to read Hebrew at the age of 5 and was admitted to St. John's College, Cambridge, when he was 14. He very soon distinguished himself by his knowledge of the Greek language, which he sometimes studied in the library from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. After studying medicine for some time, he gave up this course and applied himself to study of Greek. For 10 years, he was a chief Greek lecturer in his college and was with Andrew Downes and was largely responsible for the revival of Greek learning in the English universities. After 20 years of university life, he became rector of Boxwood and Cambridge just higher. When he was translated, when the translation of the Bible was begun, he was chosen to be one of the Cambridge translators. Evidently, he not only undertook this portion, but also the part allotted to another member of the committee. When the work was completed, John Boyce was one of the 6 translators who met Stationers Hall and to revise the whole. This took them about 9 months. After a long life of profitable study, ministry, translating, writing, he died at the age of 84. His brow without wrinkles, his sight quick, his hearing sharp, his countenance fresh, and his body sound. Dr. Williams Banthwaite, fellow of Emmanuel College, Deputy Margaret Professor of Divinity and late Master of Gonville and Caius College, Professor Andrew Downes, St. John's College, Cambridge, St. John's College, Cambridge, Bachelor of Arts, 1567, Fellow, 1571, Master of Arts, 1574, Bachelor's degree, 1582, Regius Professor of Greek, 1585. Downes and Boyce revived the study of Greek at St. John's. Downes was a professor of Greek for nearly 40 years and was acknowledged to be one of the Greek scholars of the age, and was acknowledged to be one of the best Greek scholars of the age. These two men joined Miles Smith and the subcommittee, which subjected the whole translation to a final, careful process of checking and correction. Dr. John Duport, Jesus College Masters of Arts, and fellow before 1580, Master of Jesus College, 4 times Vice Chancellor of the University. Dr. Jeremiah Radcliffe, Fellow of Trinity College, Cambridge. Dr. Samuel Ward, Fellow of King's College, Cambridge, Doctorate degree. Prebendary of Chichester. Dr. T. Ward, Emmanuel College, Cambridge, Emmanuel College, in Cambridge, Doctorate degree, Master of Sydney, Sussex College, and Lady Margaret Professor. Okay, that concludes the translators, and I just wanted to give a background of these translators and what they knew, how studied they were, and the languages they were proficient in, to demonstrate that they knew multiple languages and they knew the languages. They didn't just. I wanted to share this because I wanted to demonstrate, they didn't just know how to read the Greek or different languages. They knew the languages. They knew they knew the languages, not just read them. They actually knew how to speak it and everything else. So I just wanted to share the background of the translators, and I hope this helped you. Thank you and take care.